Godspeed and fuck Ashtray.
Yeah.
We're live,
Fuck
gentlemen.
Ashtray. We're live,
Away.
gentlemen. Late as always, you piece of shit.
Late? Fuck, we're 3 minutes early.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put this magnet fishing
Yeah.
video on here now, man.
So we can get that. So we can get the mistakes out before y'all see them.
Know what I'm
Cool.
saying, man?
I don't know.
Before
what you're saying.
they see him, we live for them to see him. It's the only fucking good part of our show is the fucking shit we don't plan. The rest of it's just plumbing and fucking magnets.
Yeah,
Plumbing.
Just
magnets.
life is just plumbing and magnets, kid.
Those are magic.
All right.
My girlfriend's sitting here watching the magic happen live, and she's like, "This is not as magical as I thought." Cheers, gentlemen, to disappointments.
Cheers.
Cheers,
In
genitals.
love and in war.
Can't tell me it's your first time.
All right. On this episode of the Red Eye Report, we talk about magnets.
That was a good one, Ashtray.
They're fucking magic. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter,
magic.
though, because the robots or the
Witchcraft.
Rona are going to kill us. So fuck
Yep.
it. Let's
Either
talk
way.
about
Not
magnets.
What is this? What is this rope you got to go on? What is this? What is going on? What's this video we're watching on here?
This is something called magnet fishing.
okay.
America, or actually, they're doing it in America, but they love doing it in Europe because they find all this fucking World War II and World War I shit in the rivers.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, finish your intro, buddy. Sorry, my bad.
That is my intro.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, really?
Yes.
Right?
Oh,
That's okay.
what?
I wasn't too offended.
Yeah, he
Okay.
phoned it in this week for sure.
Let's talk about
Look at that.
magnets.
So he's like picking up old nails and shit.
Yeah. And those magnets, you can buy them for like $30 on Amazon.
Just
And-
these huge motherfuckers.
Yeah, they fucking pick up they can pick up like 500 pounds and shit. Some of
Damn.
them,
Right,
like,
the magnet can, but you can't.
yeah, you can't. Right. Right.
Yeah, what do you do if your magnet gets
I mean,
stuck
what do you
on
do to get stuck on something
sewer
that you
pipe?
can't? I mean, you can't fucking.
Oh.
You're
Well, there
probably
goes my $30
yeah, you're
magnet.
probably fucked. You better have a winch or something. I don't
No,
know.
well, Oracle would just scuba dive down and pry it off with
That's
his fucking
right.
scuba suit.
That's right.
They get eaten by a giant fucking catfish.
Maybe.
So
Where do you
Catfish.
think he's scuba diving at?
it's
Right?
probably
Why does
very
it matter, man? Just
popular,
keep on with the show. Just
All
why
right.
in
why does it
areas
have to be
where
real with
you
Mr.
can't
tonight? It has to be fucking
fish
real for
due
Mr.
to pollution.
Jesus Christ, no hyperbole tonight. Not at
Okay,
all.
so magnets, fucking positive, negative. You got the North Pole, South Pole,
Yang.
I
yin
prefer
yang,
South Pole.
right?
All right, moving on to the fuck what you think. That's our show.
All right,
Positive,
but-
negative. That's-
So with magnets, one thing I was wondering is like, how long have we had these motherfuckers around? How much did they know about these? And I started looking into it, and it's really kind of interesting because they were making discoveries about magnets, thousands of years ago, like
Is it probably
2,500
back to
years
the
ago.
Egyptians, right, or something?
So ancient Greeks, actually around Turkey, it said that a shepherd was walking, and he had nails in his sandals, and when he walked over what we would call lodestone or magnetite, his sandals actually and his staff became stuck to it. He's like, well, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah.
Witchcraft,
Goddamn
burn him. He's a
God.
witch.
Yeah.
What magic is
He's a
this?
fucking witch. Burn him.
And so they've been studying the properties of this for years, and then of course they found that, if we suspend this lodestone, it actually points to the north, to the magnetic north, and that's how they were able to navigate. Seafarers were able to navigate using that. Then eventually what they started to do is they realized that they could magnetize other objects. So they'd take like a needle, and they would you actually align the magnetic field of that metal. So you can change the magnetic field of metal. You can magnetize different items. You can demagnetize them. And actually, electromagnetic field, there are four forces in the world. We have gravity, we have electromagnetic or electromagnetism or whatever the fuck. Maybe it's just electromagnetic.
The
Strong
electromagnetic
nuclear
field.
and weak nuclear. And this is baked in to our world. Everything in our world.
To
This is what
reality.
is keeping fucking everything together. Now, only certain elements actually have what we would consider kind of like your magnet, your strong magnetic properties. And those are things like iron, cobalt, nickel. And what's going on there is you've got an electron and a proton pair and stuff, and those off balance or they take away the pole, the magnetic pole. If you have an electron by itself, then that is actually causing the magnetic pole. And when you put multiple atoms together that have that pole, that field, the electron or multiple electrons that are by themselves, think of like an orbit around a planet, and it can go out. They can align with each other,
Magic.
and that's how you get a strong
It's not
magnetic
magic,
field.
it's witchcraft. God damn
Yeah,
it! I keep saying
it's
it.
It is
witchcraft.
totally witchcraft. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's the thing is like, I don't know. Like, it's one of those scientific explanations where it's just like, yeah, well, there's just like, there's an electron. It's like just swinging around. And it's like, and then even though when you start to study how they're like, well, when you really try to like look at an electron move around, you can't really see it, right? It's more of like a cloud. So it's like, well, how do you know it's really swinging around?
Sure, yeah, and I'm just relying on whatever they've got on the internet.
That was just a whole bunch of bullshit right there.
Fucking
It just
Ashtray.
happened.
Nitpicking. Ashtray
It
is
just happened.
nitpicking magnetism.
I'm not doubting
This-
it, but it's just
Jesus.
still.
Okay, no,
It's like-
I agree with
it's
that.
hard to
This is an Ashtray
comprehend.
topic.
But one thing that I didn't realize is that in magnet, or let's say you take a piece of metal, is you actually have these different kind of atoms in different regions that need to be pointed in one direction or the other. They need to be oriented. Their field needs to be oriented. And that is not like a constant thing. So that can change over time. And I'm going to get into that because we happen to be sitting on top of a very large magnet.
The Earth.
And yeah, I was going to say the butt plug, the magnetic butt plug that I have in. But beyond that, the
We're all
Earth.
sitting on that.
Right.
I'm not
No,
sitting
that
on
could
it. Oh my god.
So
So you have to fight to get up? Is that the point? I mean, what is it?
right. It actually keeps me down, stuck to my seat.
Jesus Christ.
So talking about like the world's, so I started looking into this, and one of the things that struck me that was very interesting is that the Earth has a magnetic field. We know that this magnetic field, it actually protects us from radiation, cosmic radiation coming off of the sun.
Goddamn cosmic radiation. Get
Except for
out
that
of here.
hole.
Well, we'll get into that. So we have this, and this is caused by the core of the Earth, the metal, the iron in the core of the Earth, and how that's working around with fucking mantle, whatever. They don't really understand. They just know
Yeah.
that there's a
No one really knows.
motherfucking
It's
right.
a guesstimation because, like, we don't really know how deep the mantle is.
right. We don't
There
really
could be a
know.
fucking Starbucks down there for all I know.
But there's
Right,
seriously some strong ass forces at play. Now, one thing that was really shocking to me is the magnetic north of the Earth is actually moving fucking quite quickly every year. In fact, it's moving like 50 kilometers a year.
Like the center point of north is shifting.
Yeah, it's shifting rapidly. It's actually moving over to Russia.
Wasn't it supposed to be, or didn't it used to be the South Pole? They were switched.
Well, we're going to get into that too.
Oh, okay,
I know
okay.
they
Sorry,
talk about-
jumping the
Start
gun.
getting, bro.
Jumping the gun.
Shit.
So the North Pole, it used to be firmly in northern Canada.
Uh-oh.
Now the motherfucker is moving at like 50 kilometers a year and heading towards Siberia. And that's because down in the core, there are these magnetic fields that are actually fighting against one another. It is not just a one
Like when
fucking
you put
thing.
like a positive and a positive, they're like, whoa.
Right.
Whoa.
So they describe these things as blobs, magnetic blobs.
Magnet blob. That could blame a lot
Magna-
of problems on magnet blob.
Yeah, magna blob. And this thing, I mean, it's so one is becoming weaker, the other one is becoming stronger, and it's moving over in that direction. Also,
Just proves Russia is strong.
Yeah.
there is this thing called the South Atlantic Anomaly. And
That sounds
what
scary.
I mean, it is a little scary.
That sounds like it's gonna kill us.
Right.
Are we gonna die from that?
We're gonna die now.
So it's this massive piece of real estate in the South Atlantic. And actually, let me bring this up over here
Bring it up, bro.
so you can see it on the thing.
Get to bringing, bro.
So it's a massive piece of real estate, South Atlantic. It stretches from the southern part of Africa and has a sizable amount of South America in it. And the magnetic field of the Earth is actually quite a bit weaker there. And it's like 20% weaker. And it's still dropping. And they're not really sure what's going on. And right now, if you're on the surface of the Earth, they say, okay, well, maybe you don't have to worry about cosmic rays. But things like satellites and stuff, if they try to fly through this kind of lower orbiting satellites, if they fly through that area, they get fried. They actually have to avoid that area.
Really?
Yeah, because it's not being protected by the magnetic field of the Earth. So
I wonder, can we blame it on Brazil?
they think so. They've done studies, and it's kind of fascinating. So there was this tribe in Africa that for thousands of years, what they would do is when there was a drought or something, they would actually take like their pottery and things like that and different jugs and shit like that, and they would burn it, ceramics. And when they burn this, obviously they didn't know this, but it actually trapped and solidified the magnetic properties of that material. So the magnetic properties of the material, it shows how the magnetic field of the Earth is at that time. So they have a snapshot of like 500 years ago. What was the Earth's magnetic field like? What was it like, 800 years ago? And apparently this pattern has been fluctuating over time. They're not really sure what that means. Now let's kind of get into what Mystic was talking about, because this is kind of this is the thing that really got me into it, is the idea of the Earth's poles actually shifting, where you go whoosh, and you go
flipperoo, right?
Little flipperoo, right?
Yeah.
It was the
First
whole
I was
premise
a man, now I'm a
of
lady.
2021.
What about 2021?
The movie 2021, that was the whole big thing. The North South Pole were shifting, and that's what was causing all that shit to happen, and why the world was ending.
Oh,
And
yeah, I remember
so
that
2012,
shit.
you mean?
2012.
Oh, 2012. Sorry.
You're old, Teddy. So
I am old. My dyslexia is kicking in. So fuck you. Okay.
No,
Do not make fun of
2021
it.
is about murder hornets.
More Hornets.
That
They better
Trump
make a
unleashes
comeback.
on
I'm
the
getting
US.
sick of this COVID.
Yeah.
So the last time this happened on Earth was 780,000 years ago, where the poles actually
780.
switch, where the magnetic
Mhm.
poles were the opposite of, or where it switched to what it is now. It used to be different than
Didn't
that.
I
happen.
wonder
The
if it's
Bible
like
says
an
the Earth's only
instant
2,000
switch or
years
if it's a
old.
gradual thing.
So it's a gradual switch. So it is not something that happens overnight. It takes thousands of years to happen.
I guess though, at what point you decide it's positive or negative when you're going to break it down to a, dichotomy.
So this is the thing. This is why this is a problem, or potentially a problem, because as it's making that shift, that the magnetic field that we're talking about, the one that is weakened in the South America or South Atlantic anomaly,
Keeps all the rays away from us.
keeps the rays away.
The bad sun stuff.
It could be our field could be up like 10 times weaker than what it is now, and it could vary on what parts of the planet that actually is. So there might
Certain
be
planets
areas
get real fucked.
that get fucking blasted
Gotcha.
by this
Yeah.
shit. So it's
Paris
not
is
going to
no
be
longer the destination spot of the world.
yeah, right. It's not going to
That
be
place
like
where it
a
is weak right now in South America.
yeah.
Do they have like a problem with like everybody's dying of skin cancer and shit, or do they say anything about?
I don't think it's weak enough where it's causing that problem. It's not saying
It's
it, but it's
just
definitely causing
Bigger than
problems
the average, yeah.
for shit that's up in the sky.
Oh, right.
So this magnetic flip, though, they're watching all this stuff. Now the thing is, these magnetic flips would happen. It's happened hundreds of times in the planet's history, but it would happen like every 200,000 years, 250,000 years. We're sitting at 780,000 years right now.
Oh, so like
We're
way
overdue.
overdue.
We're fucking way overdue, right?
So at one point, the North and South Pole would be at like Japan and like Brazil. You know what I mean? Like on the
Right,
opposite
yeah,
side. So
it
like
would-
tilted sideways.
it would
That's
tilt.
fucking weird.
Yeah, it would tilt considerably. But when you think about that, I mean, before I kind of heard shit about this, is like, okay, whatever. What kind of fucking crackpot weird shit is this? But they're doing these studies. The motherfucking, like, the North Pole is moving like a motherfucker right now. There's shit going on.
That bitch
I feel
jumping and
like we
diving.
need Sarah McLachlan behind you when you say those last two lines. In the
Yeah.
eyes of an angel.
I feel like you're lying because the Earth is flat.
Yeah, right.
I feel like you're lying because the
Well,
Bible
You know,
mentioned nothing.
I don't
of
know
this.
why everybody's fussing and feuding that this is such a big problem. All you gotta do is take your compass and you just turn it around. Have the north pole point to south. Oh, there. Problem solved.
So this stuff, it's interesting. I'm definitely going to be paying more attention to it. And if it does, so for instance, in that South Atlantic anomaly, if it keeps on going down, so in 2012, the sun, I don't know if you guys remember, the sun fucking emitted this massive like solar flare,
Yeah.
but it missed us. If it would have hit us, it would have fucking fried our electronics. It would have just totally wreaked havoc on all of our shit.
I'm still
If it
waiting
gets
for
to-
one of those.
Right, we're still
Like-
waiting for one of those, and it kind they've been
Hey,
doing
It's early, man. 6 more months of 2020. Don't worry.
right.
Yeah, right. Shut up, Ashtray.
But if we get into a situation where this stuff starts shifting around and it keeps on, they're saying that South Atlantic anomaly is actually it's splitting. So there's going to be two low points down there, and they don't know what's causing this.
That to me sounds like an evil magician's plan who's not working on one front, so he's splitting the fronts off to try to see where he can get in it.
What we need is a
Witchcraft.
starship engineer
It's
from
witchcraft.
Star
people.
Trek to figure this out for us
So-
in 42 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Let's get
And
to
go.
some of the cool stuff.
Yeah. Get
So
to the cool stuff, not
in
the
magnets, I don't know. Have you guys
phone.
had any fucking like cool magnets? Fucking strong magnets.
hell
My
yeah.
wife loves them. She has magnets.
Yeah.
My entire My Light factory
have,
used to be based on the super magnets.
I have refrigerator magnets on my little refrigerator right here. I spelled out cheeks for my son because I call him Chubby Cheeks.
Nice.
That's your whole story.
I mean, I've got a Nintendo magnet. I mean, refrigerator magnets. I mean, most kids had their knowledge of magnets or first fun with magnets came from refrigerator magnets. We're old enough to know about the letters and shit. I mean, so that's I got the same thing for my son, passing it on, motherfucker. Shit, is that bad? Shit, while we're talking about magnets. Jesus Christ!
One of the coolest
Jesus.
devices for cleaning your bongs uses a magnet.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah, you never seen that thing?
No.
Yeah. It's just two magnets.
It's like an
and you
aquarium
put one on
scrubber.
the inside, and the aquarium scrubber basically.
Oh, I've never seen
it. Just rub it down the side of the bong, and it fucking cleans all the soot out.
So upon doing some intensive research on Amazon for about 10 seconds, and a search for super strong magnet, fucking super strong magnets are easy as fuck to get. They cost like $30, $50, and some of these motherfuckers can lift, they claim they can lift like 2,000 pounds with this shit.
Yeah, but there's no real way to. I mean, unless you want to put some on a car and just fucking
Right.
Have to,
100 grade or something, nobody will get it.
Or put it between, on like a forklift tying, something
Sure.
to lift it with.
Right.
Just lift Ashtray's
I just
mom
feel-
with it.
I feel actually I don't feel sorry for those guys.
If it lifts her, then it's good. 2,000.
Yeah.
That's how they test them in the factory.
Yeah, right.
I've had the guys show me with magnets and they'll put one right here and one right here. Then it
What are
hurts.
they
It
making
starts
in this
hurting and shit. And they
video,
can't get it
Mike?
off. I'm like, I've seen that shit.
It's
Yeah.
like squares. I know there's a delay for us, but
Oh, so they're actually making magnets in this factory.
yeah.
So what they do is they pour molds, and they put the metals in there. So they take like iron and fucking copper, aluminum, and shit like that, and then they go through all these processes where they kind of they melt the metal down, and then the important thing is you need to align the magnetic fields in it. So they need to put an electric pulse through it in order
Yeah,
to
so
make
they
it.
zap it while it's liquid.
They zap it while it's liquid. They zap it a few times. So they align it, and then they give it like
Just
one
to
last
sick.
charge to kind of give it. But
Look at that,
yeah,
they're just throwing these chunks of metal. Yeah, we
Have you
got
ever
these from
seen-
Gary down at the scrapyard.
Have you guys ever seen the show Bullshit with
Yeah.
Penn and Teller?
yeah,
Have you ever seen that magnet episode that they did?
No.
no.
Oh wait,
Where
was it
people-
one about the health issues?
Yeah, people were
Yeah.
using magnets to like do that pseudoscience like healing bullshit,
Mm-hmm.
and they set up a shop like in the mall, like one of those middle of the mall like shop things, and like they had
kiosk, yeah.
gigantic magnets and shit, talking like 5 feet long, and they'd pull them out, and these people were like, "Oh, I feel so much
ridiculous
better."
looking
Shit.
things.
Yeah, like they were just fucking with
Swear.
people. It was super funny.
So yeah, there's that shit. One thing that I've been seeing a lot of videos is these magnet fishing videos, where they will go. The ones that are the most interesting, or at least I've found the most interesting, is when they go to like rivers in Europe, where
Where
like these
the old shit is,
battlegrounds
where
and
the
shit.
history is.
Where and they find like fucking grenades and helmets and shit like that from all these battles that happened. And basically what you do is you put a magnet, one of these magnets that you can get for $30 on Amazon. You put it on a rope, and I imagine it's kind of like what people do with metal detectors and shit.
Yeah.
You just have a bucket
Yeah.
and you're collecting stuff and seeing what you can get. And it's just kind of a pastime kind of thing. But
You don't even have to dig. You just gotta just kind of dip
Yeah.
it.
you just got to pull it up. And I don't know. I could see how that would be.
It'd be
Cool to
interesting
do.
for a
Yeah.
while.
You're right.
It's almost like gambling. Like I'd almost
yeah.
rather do something like that than sit in front of a fucking a slot machine. You know what I mean? Because you're waiting for
Right.
that big payoff.
Yeah.
Like if you pull up a fucking relic from World War II that's worth fucking 80,000. You know what I mean? Like you're like,
Right.
damn, we're at the fucking jackpot.
Yeah. Or you know, some people might find it cooler than fishing.
Therapeutic, yeah.
Right.
But I think
can see
you
if you're
should
in a
play the
canoe.
long game. When you said magnet fishing, like this is what went through my mind. This is how dumb I am. I think like this guy for over a course of like a year, every day goes out in a boat and feeds, just throws metal, fish food with metal in it. So these fish are just eating metal for a whole year. And then just drags a magnet through the middle of the fucking river. You know what I mean? Just fucking thump, 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 thump. All these fish. Like, just
What is he gonna do with the fish then?
Eat them. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. That's how dumb I am, dude. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm telling you.
That's
magnet
hilarious.
fishing.
I guess that's easier to get away with than using a grenade.
Dynamite. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, that's just kind of magnets. It's something that really, when I started looking into it, it kind of blew my mind. Just thinking about like we are on this fucking giant magnet, and it is fucking shifting around. Like not in when you think about like huge geologic things, you think, oh, it fucking moves an inch like every 100,000 years, not 50 kilometers.
Well,
fucking every year.
And then when you really think about, we're on a flying rock, magnetic rock,
right?
Like hurtling thousands of miles a fucking second through whatever is out there. We don't even know like what we're in.
Right.
We're rotating so fast that if we stop suddenly, like shit, like buildings and shit would go flying.
Oh yeah, go flying.
The physics of our planet are actually pretty cool.
That Penn and Teller episode, like, I know there's scientific real evidence for like these magnet bracelets and whatnot, but like, with magnetic forces have been in our world before we were ever here. I wonder, like, if there wouldn't be some sort of correlation with really intense magnetic forces on a human body.
Well,
Put a really super intense electromagnet next to some, little mouse, and like, would it be bad for it?
Well, they do. Of course, there's the MRI machines where they do the imaging. With magnetics.
You're right. Because that alters the direction of all the particles,
magnetic resonance imaging.
Yeah. So that's what it's changing the polarity of it or the direction of it, and so an MRI machine is 0.5 Teslas. That's how strong an MRI is.
0.5 Tesla, so like a half a Tesla car revving up.
Well, the Tesla is
what is you got to explain what
so
is
a Tesla is the measuring unit, the universal measuring unit for magnetic force.
So what is 1 Tesla able to do? It can like hold a car up or a small person.
Lift Teddy's mom.
He said it was 5.
I think it depends. I think it depends on the surface area of that magnet. But if you were standing next to an MRI machine, if you were 1 meter away from that MRI machine, it would yank a metal wrench out of your hand and fucking whip it into that MRI. That's why I don't know if you guys have ever had an MRI done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
They're pretty stringent about like
taking all your shit off.
Yeah, make sure you don't have your shit.
Right. And pull out that stainless steel butt plug, Oracle.
Right. Rip you a new fucking asshole. And even if you have a fucking shit internally, like surgical stents or some whatever, I don't know, some sort of metal thing inside of you, it will fucking move that shit or rip it out of you. So that's 0.5. Now, recently in Florida, they actually had they created a magnet that
flew the coop.
is four. I'm trying to find what it is exactly. Scientists in Florida made a magnet
So 2
that
pedestrians and 1
creates
dog.
45 Teslas.
Damn, that's
45
a lot of
Tesla.
The last
Oh.
one was just 5, right?
Oh, actually, so that's 10 times stronger than the MRI. So they
So
actually
an
created.
MRI is 4.5. You said then?
Yeah, I guess it's 4.5.
Okay.
So now, actually, they upped their record. Now they have a 45.5.
Tesla MRI.
Well, it's not an MRI. That MRI would fucking. I mean,
What is it?
absolutely.
It's just a magnet.
It's just a magnet. But just look what they have to do to keep this thing going.
Does it have to be super cooled and shit?
Super cooled. So the copper, let's see here. Copper wire generates heat as current passes through. It needs 31 megawatts of power to run, more than the peak power output of some nuclear submarines, and requires
Christ.
thousands of gallons of refrigerated water to cool. But this is much, much, much stronger than what the Earth's it's concentrated. It's this one
so
magnet.
it's like concentrated power, in a smaller area than
in a much smaller area.
Compared to like the Earth's electromagnetic field, like it's basically stronger in that smaller area.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
much
it's
stronger.
probably similar to like kind of the energy needs when they make those artificial diamonds. You know, it's like artificially super high pressured. What do they use this for? Probably experiments.
Because the thing is they haven't. So they didn't know about, for instance, the polarity switch of the Earth's poles until the early 20th century. And when that happened, the dude that discovered it, he came out with his findings, and they were just like, no, this is fucking wrong. And he's like, no, it's fucking, and he died
Put
like
this magnet on your head.
2 years later, because he was ostracized because of it,
really?
and it was his life's fucking work. So they don't know a lot about this shit, honestly. And it's one of these forces that is it's like gravity. It's fucking baked into physics. It's baked into the world, right? It isn't just a magnet. It is fucking everything and everywhere. So they're really trying to understand what this stuff is and what it can do. So I don't know. I found it to be interesting. I'm a fucking crackpot, dumbass scientist. So don't fucking listen to what I'm saying. Look it up on the internet. But I found it to be interesting. So that's it for our magnet discussion. Let's move on to the next part of the show here, the What's Sexy. And Teddy says half an ounce.
Okay, so the DA in Nashville has come out and said that he will no longer prosecute drug possession charges of half ounce or under. They passed a law, I believe it was last year or a couple years ago, in Nashville that decriminalized up to an ounce of marijuana, but it was up to the cops' discretion, and the cops said, fuck that, they were still gonna, fuck with cats. He did say that he cannot stop police from arresting people for it, but if it comes across his desk, they're not gonna bother with it. So I thought that's pretty cool. That the reasons he said is because it doesn't. There's no reason to put non-violent people in jail over something so stupid, and it's surprisingly progressive.
Right.
I think for Nashville or the
For
DA to do
that,
this,
yeah, it is. Yeah.
So I just thought it was cool. So that's my What's Sexy, you motherfuckers.
Fucking stoner.
I just think it's fucking crazy.
You wanted
to
to
me.
talk, bro. You just mad because you can't find none.
Yeah, right.
It is crazy to me how uneven these laws are around this country. Like,
Right.
fucking make up your goddamn mind. Just
Yeah.
But the states don't want that. They want to make their own laws.
It's
Look,
fucking
I'm very
ridiculous.
convinced. That even if it naturally becomes legalized marijuana, there are a lot of especially the southern states. A lot of them will still outlaw it, or counties at least will be like, oh nope. A lot of counties will be like, nope, marijuana
Oh
is
yeah,
illegal
I'm
here.
sure there'll be dry counties.
Just like they have dry counties and fucking for alcohol still down here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's they're gonna be
I'm just waiting for psilocybin. Fucking.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down for that one. Fucking shrooms, man.
Yep.
Oh.
It's a way to a better mind.
So they have
What?
in Denver, they legalized it, didn't they?
I think you're right.
Or decriminalized it? I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
They did in Colorado. Mushrooms are legal in Colorado. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, man. Need to go out to fucking Colorado.
They're good for you.
I wouldn't
Hell
mind moving
yeah.
to Denver.
Fix your head.
Fuck yeah. They're nice. Make you feel good.
Well, yeah.
Open up a restaurant,
They
an infusion
also
restaurant,
are
or
more
food truck or
effective
something.
than antidepressants.
Or you sell fucking pasta made with
Shrooms? Fuck yeah. Got the good stuff on
Well,
there. Too bad
shrooms
they,
and edibles. I mean, yeah.
too bad
If I
they
moved to
taste like
Colorado,
shit.
I would do like a food truck or something that cooked with weed. Or do something. It'd be awesome.
Nice.
Have an omelet called green eggs and ham. Be dope. Made with wheat butter because it turns the eggs green when you cook with wheat butter.
Jesus
That's right.
Christ, Eddie.
It would sell. Fuck y'all, don't take my ideas. It would fucking sell and it would be good. Green
Oh,
eggs,
that'd be
ham,
pretty
spinach,
great.
look, goat cheese wrapped in a wrap, bro.
So, how expensive it'd be to make that oil? That's a lot of oil you need.
If with an ounce, I mean, it can't be so strong that people are fucking can't drive home. So I mean, I generally use.
Well,
I generally use for
people out. Never mind.
I mean,
then.
for an ounce of ground weed, I mean, I'm pretty sure I can make fucking like probably at least 5 or 6 pounds of butter off of it, and it still be kind of potent. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I
Alright.
have no experience making the butter.
well then
Next
shut the
up.
fuck up.
Touche.
Next up, we have me
damn.
with The Last of Us Part 2.
Part D.
Been playing,
How did you
finally cracked it open
Our kiss from
last night,
last night.
and it's fucking awesome.
Why are
So
we still talking about
I've got to
this?
say they've made some improvements over the
You said it was
original one that I appreciate. For one, it's a gorgeous game. That's no surprise. The motion capture and everything is just
How
phenomenal.
long ago was the first one?
2013, I believe, was the first
So
one.
it's been a while then.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Was that a
been a
PlayStation
minute.
2? Or I mean PlayStation 3?
PlayStation
it was
3 was
PS3, yeah.
PS3. They did a
PS3 was
remake
one.
or a
PS4.
remaster on PS4. Played through that one recently. And then this one came out a couple weeks ago. So they had it feels very much the same in terms of the core gameplay as the first one, but they've added some really nice tweaks to it. So your movement is so these are the Naughty Dog makes Uncharted, which Uncharted is kind of like the flagship PS4 or PlayStation experience. You're climbing up mountains, you're fucking swinging around jungles and all this shit.
Ashtray, have you played the new Tomb Raider, the new Ruby to Tomb Raider for Xbox? Okay, well, it's just like that. So
Yeah, it's like that
that's
as
pretty
well.
much it's pretty much Uncharted.
Right.
With,
And you know
chick.
that's cool. And then Last of Us was very kind of grounded. You're not fucking swinging around on shit. You're not doing anything fancy, really.
Just walking around.
Right. They've
Even
long,
young.
The sneak mechanics in the first one were all kinds of broken.
they
They
were,
were all kind
and
kinds
that
of
was
fucked up.
frustrating. Yeah, that
it's
was
very
frustrating. Right. So with this one, what they've done is they've added a dodge mechanic. So in this, there can be like swarms of zombies coming at you, swarms of runners. So part of your dodge mechanic is you can quickly get out of the way and take off, or you can dodge by hitting L1 and fucking like bashing them with a fucking steel pipe or whatever. Also, they have
Is it like a barrel roll or is it more just
no, it's like a quick dodge kind of thing. But it's not exaggerated.
Juke.
So a juke. Okay,
juke,
yes,
yeah.
that's
There
a
you go.
better word.
There you go.
So
Yeah, let's throw some mad
another
terms in
thing,
there.
they have a rope mechanic where you actually can throw ropes Uncharted style. You find those in the environment, or at least I've found them in the environment. Realistic physics, so you can throw them over like fences and shit. I've had to like throw a like a power cable over to fucking plug it in. So that's really nice. They've also opened up the exploration on it as well. So the first one was pretty linear. Maybe there were a few side houses. I've gone into an area now where you choose where you want to go. So, you kind of hear rumors about stuff being in like a bank. You can go to that bank, or you can decide not to go to that bank. It's up to you what you want to take on. But other than that, it's pretty much a lot of the same. The story is fantastic. It's fucking brutal as fuck. There's a scene that's happened already that's just like, holy fucking shit. Like, they don't pull any punches on this.
Cinematic.
It's super. I was playing it for like 3 hours,
Was
and
the
it
first
felt
one
like
like that? Very cinematic.
it was very cinematic, but I will say that this is paced out. So the first one was kind of you had like these set piece moments that you kept on going into, and this is like that, but it gives you more time in between those, so you're not like rushing into shit. It kind of lets you reset a little bit because it could be fucking intense. It's an intense game. So yeah, awesome. I hear it's long. I don't know how long I'm going to take it. I'm going to take my time with it. But
somebody was like, I read 2 different reviews, and that's what they bitched about, was how long the game was.
That's because fuckers, they
want like a 6, 7, 8 hour experience, and
it's because they're trying to play it at one fucking time.
Well, and that's like telling Naughty Dog isn't some dude that just showed up to make a game.
Right.
Naughty Dog is a fucking developer. You know what I mean? They crafted some of the best storytelling fucking video games in the last decade.
Right.
And that's like telling Quentin Tarantino, I like Django, but why is it gotta be 3 hours long?
Cut out 45
right. Yeah. Like,
right.
What are you fucking doing, dude? No. Enjoy it.
Right. I mean, people are going to hate no matter what. It wouldn't matter what they have done with this. People would hate on it. But it's undeniable. When you play it, you're just like, man, this is a fucking smooth, polished, cinematic experience that really knows what the fuck it is. And I think that's the thing, is the first one was an impressive game. But this knows, they obviously knew what worked really well in the first one, and they polished that and they built it. And it's just, even like the little details when you're looking around houses and stuff like that, it's much more detailed. Like before, you might get like a little journal entry or whatever. This is a lot more detailed. So there are like all these side kind of things like, oh, what was happening here? Oh, the sergeant of the guard had this, this beef with this other guy, and you're kind of doing this like
lady, and then this lady turned out to be a zombie, and she bit my knob.
Right.
But they were able to cut his dick off in time. He didn't turn into a zombie, but now he's a fucking
cauterized it.
Now he's got no dick
with my Coleman burner.
Well, yeah. I don't know if Naughty Dog's going to be hiring you guys to write their story for them anytime.
Hey.
Well, they fucking should.
But Last of Us Part 2, it's fucking good.
Awesome. I am
Mystic, the Degenerates.
All right, this is a Netflix comedy thing. It's got 2 seasons, 8 episodes apiece, about half an hour, 20 minutes to half an hour per stand-up. But there's some really funny motherfuckers in there. That's about it. Just check it out. Miss Pat is the funniest one that I've seen so far. Her or Donnell Rollins. Big J Okerson is another funny-ass one.
Big J is funny, yeah.
Are they in like one spot? Like, are they in one comedy club, or is it like
it's in
places?
Vegas.
Okay.
I think it's it's 3 or 4 of them do a set. Like, because the audiences look the same for about 3 or 4 of the comedians in that 8 episodes. You know what I mean? So, like, they probably have 4 of them come in and do sets one night and then 4 another night.
Right.
But they're funny. They're like that Michael Chi funny.
Boom.
Teddy
Next
liked.
up, we've got Ashtray. Fucking Boston
Boston
Dynamics.
Pull up
Robots
that
already.
video there. The old. I don't know if you've seen the their newest robot called Spot. It looks kind of like a headless greyhound.
Spot. Let's give him a puppy name so everyone loves him. He's
Yeah.
so cuddly.
Mhm.
But like when you watch this, like
So
it
it's
looks
murdering your family.
it looks as if it's like a 3D animation because it moves so fucking fluidly.
Right.
That it like just doesn't seem real yet. But there's a whole like 20-minute episode where this thing with what is it, Adam Savage from Mythbusters. Basically he sets it up on a whole course where like he can just set up these like QR markers and then just like tell it which QR markers it needs to go to in what order, and like it figures its own path out going up and down stairs, and see it dancing there and shit. Like that isn't just like a CG, like look at it. Like there's a video of him dancing with it. It just looks unreal because it's so fluid, like like an animal's quick response, muscular response. So it's super amazing, And then, a couple years from now, once they put a sniper rifle in the back, it'll be my What You Think.
Jerry Bruckheimer's putting this in a movie already.
Oh, I'm sure. Right? Probably getting paid by Boston Dynamics to have Spot be like.
See the opening scene, 4 of those things are unleashed off the back of a truck.
Turn its little head. It's got all those cameras in it. It kind of looks
down
like
a
it's
bunch
got
of
a little
white people.
face. It's crazy.
By the blacks.
We're definitely going to have to fight those things.
You won't, because you'll be in the middle of nowhere in Vermont.
That's right.
One's going to definitely rip me apart.
Yeah.
About 7,000 different pieces.
Thank God there's a lot of you to go around so your family
Yeah.
Run for your life.
Plenty of dad. I'm hungry. Have some more of your dad. Shut up.
All right. Teddy.
Teddy's sleeping.
I'm not sleeping. Fuck you.
Okay,
Look,
fuck what you think. Stupid salesman.
Okay, so I shop very particular. When I go out, I know what I want. If you try to sell me what I don't want, I'm going to get upset. So I went to Home Depot because I was thinking about getting some smart lights. I'm not an asshole. I just know what the fuck I want. It's my money. I'll spend it how the fuck I please. Shut the fuck up. Listen to my goddamn story.
Suggesting something you might
God
like.
damn it. God fucking damn it. You're still talking, Mystic. You're still fucking talking. So I go and I'm looking at the smart light bulbs at Home Depot. And this younger salesman comes up to me. He's like, "How can I help you?" I was like, "I'm just checking out light bulbs. You know anything about them and everything? What's the best one to get and stuff?" He's like, "No, I don't really." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I turn
thought
around
you knew what you wanted.
I do know what I want, but I'm just checking out a light bulb.
Why'd you bother to ask him?
Why'd you ask
Jesus.
him?
I didn't ask him shit. He came with me actually if I needed any help.
You fucking do your research
Then you
before you
said,
go.
"Yeah, I'm just looking." You said, "What's your best?"
I'm gonna stab every last one
What's
of you.
your opinion? That's your fatal flaw there.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, you're
So
asking
anyway-
him for his opinion, then you're like, "Fuck you, get away from me. I know what I want."
He said,
Yeah.
no, okay, anyway, so I go back to checking out the light bulbs.
Like, I really
And he-
support
he-
Black lives, but sometimes they're just so unreasonable.
Anyway, so I go back to look at the light bulbs. He proceeds to ask me how my AC is working at my house,
What?
and I'm like,
What?
And I'm like, bro. And I'm like, it's working all right now, man. And I'm still looking at light bulbs here. What I'm going to buy? It's like, well, we have a special going on right now. And I'm like, I turn on. I'm like, look, buddy. I get that you're trying to sell me something about my AC at home, but I'm just worried about light bulbs right now. And he's like, He's like, I get that. I was like, thank you, man. I turn around, keep looking light bulbs. He's like, but I'm just saying, it is free for us. Come on, check it out, and everything else. I'm like, that's like, does your life depend on me saying yes or no? He's like,
Fucking
well, no.
bored.
Like, then no. I just want to look at light bulbs right now. I don't give a shit about my AC. and he's. And he's like, I'm just trying to talk to you about your AC. But why though? Just out of the blue,
Yeah.
bro.
You should have rubbed your hand all over your nuts and smacked him in the face with it and been like, smell that. Tell me if my AC's working or not.
Yeah, right.
Get the fuck out of here.
Right, baby
But
powder
he
fresh.
kept trying to like sell me. Like, I finally, he's like, I'm not trying to be an asshole, buddy, but I don't want to talk about my AC unless you know a shit ton about smart bulbs. Then I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah. What kind of light bulbs do I need for my AC unit, retard? If you can't tell me that, then.
So, have any of you worked in a sales position before?
Yes, I do work in a sales position.
Yeah.
And it's very,
I have.
it's
Actually, I did over the phone.
the amount of adults that come into bars who don't know what they want to drink is so
Where you
goddamn.
gotta like upsell people.
Yeah,
and
where you
shit?
got to upsell
Yeah,
shit.
I had
Yeah.
to upsell people.
Yeah.
I worked for the old Swiss colony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was over the
Figgies,
phone.
man. Same
Figgies.
shit.
Yeah, I did figgies.
Yeah.
If I liked
Just
you on the
mail
phone, I
order
would
for white
send you
people.
free shit.
I
But
used
that
to
was
talk
always
to the sweet old ladies as long as I possibly
Hell
could because
yeah.
it meant I didn't have to fucking take some asshole's order.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
draw them out.
Yeah, because either you have like sweet fucking old ladies, or you have fucking just the most horrific human
Ignorant
beings.
fucks.
Motherfuckers,
I
yeah.
had
Oh,
some
yeah.
dude from Kentucky, and I shit you not, try to give me an EBT card for mail order sausage. I'm like, dude, we don't take food stamp cards. He's like, well, it's legal tender for food. I'm like, yeah, probably in the
Yeah.
same fucking state you're
Your
in.
kind of food, yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
That was the same job I got. That story where
EBT cards for
the guy went off like you're talking about where you have to take an asshole's order, and like
Yeah.
he called wanting to solve customer service problem where it's like he shouldn't have even been like transferred to my section. I'm the one who's just supposed to take orders and try to upsell
Yeah.
the old ladies. You don't need this central candle, but boy does it smell like a winery.
It's
And
so delicious.
This guy is such a fucking asshole that in his address, underneath like the city and state and zip code, I then added, between the city and state and his address, I just added in the address to line, you are dumb. And I didn't hear about it for 6 months until one time at one point my manager's like, Craig, come here. We need you to look at this. And I'm like, okay.
Dumb.
And she's like, do you remember this guy? She's like pointing at some name. I'm like, I don't remember the name. She's like, we'll look closer. And then I saw the you are dumb. I'm like, oh, like that guy was a real fucking asshole when he called. And she's like, yeah, you think he was angry then? What do you think when he got every bill and every I thought it was just gonna go out on that one order. I changed it in the entire system.
The whole system?
Oh, wow.
Every catalog he got? You are.
Whoa.
Every bill.
man.
And they didn't fire me. I was
They did,
such
yeah.
a
Oh my
darn
God.
punk rock sweetheart.
White
You know how I
fucking
can
privilege
charm my
right
way out of
there.
these things?
They would have canned my black ass.
They
What the
put
fuck
me
is
on
wrong with you?
suspension for 2 weeks, and they
Really?
monitored my phone calls closely.
Oh, that's great.
But it was like a savage fuck you. I thought it was just gonna be the one order.
That's great.
Yeah, sales sucks. I'm glad I don't
Fuck
have
yeah,
to do
dude.
that anymore.
Shittiest job ever.
I probably the worst one. Well, I don't know. Like it had its ups and downs. Is when I worked at Staples, where I had to fucking sell people because you
Yeah.
really had to fucking get the like extended warranty plans and shit on stuff. That's how you make your money.
Like, did you get a little commission on each?
Yeah,
extended
you got a commission
Oh,
out of
wow.
that.
How
you know,
much was
now-
the commission?
I don't remember, but for 19-year-old me, it was decent
Yeah.
to get that shit. And I mean the computers at that time, you're talking,
Easy at
fucking
19.
Right, but you're all under sales. Like so, I've been shopping. My girlfriend's told me about many times I'm an asshole. So if I go someplace and if I want a 60-inch flat screen TV, and you try to sell me a 55 inch like 3 times, like I'm just walking out on you. I mean, have you all ever tried to tell somebody something when they told you multiple times, I don't
No,
want that?
No,
that's so
that's
dumb.
stupid.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's-
yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
what
I've
Yeah.
it
had
happens to me all
not
the
when I
time.
was a
Like, I want,
salesman, but I've been in your
because
position where you have
I'm
to
very
get.
specific, especially with electronics. I'm very specific about what I want to buy. Expect
Yeah.
when it comes to TVs, I have to have a certain refresh rate for my
Well,
games,
It's
and like
sort
people
of
will be.
rude to do it that way. You know what I mean? Like a.
Yeah.
So when I worked at Hardee's, when I got fired as the manager, I just went back to being a shift leader at one of the other different franchise in Point when I went to college. So like they're like, oh well, you have to try to sell them 3 different things, and I'm like, I'm not fucking selling somebody 3 different fucking things. I'll ask him one time, hey, you
3
want to
different
upsize
things.
that? Yeah, they wanted you to upsize. Oh, do you want to
Yeah.
upsize that? If he says no to that, I'm not fucking asking him if he wants
Yeah.
cookies or some
Right.
stupid shit. You know
yeah,
what
a
I
lot
mean?
of restaurants, especially when it comes to waiting tables and stuff, a lot of restaurants have like a fine. There's so many restaurants I worked at. They had a fine like a thing you had to, what do you call it, a script you had to read. And
Yeah.
I mean, like, and if they don't want, if people want to get straight to ordering, but you had to go through, and for a second entree appetizer, we have like people like, buddy, I just want to order.
Right.
But the
Well, and that's
manager's
the
in there like,
thing.
and you're not going through your script. I'm like, because he just wants to order a goddamn sandwich. I'm like, he doesn't want to
I
hear
hate
about the
that
fucking.
shit. The thing is you hire employees, and you should anyway, because they're somewhat intelligent. You know what I mean? And fast food completely takes that out of the fucking equation. So you
Right.
got all these brain dead fucks going, oh, you gotta follow the script because McDonald's knows exactly what you do. You know, like, what? No, motherfucker. Just if someone says no the first time, I'm not gonna fucking piss
Right,
them off by
exactly.
being like,
Right.
hey, you want this and
Yeah.
this?
Oh, I specifically like there's a car rental thing in Minneapolis when I fly in. I had such a bad experience one time where I'd have to look it up to see which one it was. But the guy would not shut the fuck up about
I
fucking
know.
adding stuff to my
Yeah,
thing.
addicts everything. Yeah, I'm like, bro.
And it's like, Jesus Christ, dude, like this would have been cool, but you just will not fucking leave me alone. Like you are an
Yeah.
asshole. Yeah.
Well,
Lame.
19-year-old him, it was worth it to get those incentives because that's how he makes his money. Okay,
Yeah. Right.
just like you at Staples, bro.
All right. Next up, we've got me. Fuck what you think. The difference between my rabbit ass life and sitting on a porch in Vermont. So this past weekend, I was out in a cabin in the middle of nowhere, fucking Vermont, fucking just chilling the fuck out, and reading stories and just fucking sleeping in and doing whatever the fuck I wanted to do.
Were you guys hunting people?
Yep, we brought a couple homeless people up.
Yeah, that's the way
released
to
them
do
into
it.
the woods.
Yeah.
Got the party together, got ATVs, and then we decapitated them and put their heads in jars. Gary Busey was there. It was really cool. But yeah, I mean,
God
It
damn
was-
Gary Busey.
it was really fucking relaxing. And, had to go back to work again on Monday. I took a long weekend, Thursday through Sunday, came back, started work on Monday, and holy fucking shit. What a change of pace that was. And, I realized it's like, that's what your fucking day-to-day is normally.
Bad shit crazy.
Right. And it's
Yeah.
like, God damn, man. I mean, it's just a different way of life,
Just move to Vermont and become a writer, dude.
Mhm.
I mean, it's tempting. It's like, fuck, man. It would be
Live off
nice
the
to just
land.
fucking chill the fuck out for a
go out
while.
and Hunt your food down.
Yeah, it was nice.
Spend all
nice.
your time just trying to survive. You don't have
Right.
to fucking worry about the rest of this bullshit.
Down a lot
that
of
winter
ice
hits, he's like, I'm out.
tea, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was. It was a nice experience, and it kind of, when you get away from your day to day, it kind of helps you get a little perspective on it. And I haven't taken, especially with this COVID shit, I haven't, it's just been kind of one fucking nonstop thing ever since this
Yeah.
whole thing started. And I don't leave the house hardly ever anymore.
No
So I'm
one
just
does
working
anymore.
out of my fucking house constantly. And yeah, it was nice to just have like a hard fucking break away from that, but it sucked to kind of be like, oh shit, this is what my life
Coming
is
back
like,
always sucks.
right? All right, next up we've got Mystic with Eurovision.
All right, so there's that movie on Netflix called Eurovision. It's a Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams.
This is about the Eurovision contest?
It's horrible. Yeah. There's like 4 funny parts in it. There's one that's really funny, but other than that, it's just I don't understand how Will Ferrell just keeps getting fucking
Shittier.
free passes to fucking make shit ass movies.
Didn't he make wasn't his last one fucking terrible too?
Yeah, that was that Sherlock Holmes, the fucking
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right.
that
Yeah, I
whole
never saw
Sherlock
that
Holmes
either.
one. That was the greatest movie review that I've ever did I ever read you guys that?
I don't.
Maybe.
Some dude wrote this whole fucking movie review. It was like 3 fucking paragraphs long describing, he's a paramedic describing the worst night of his life. And the last sentence was, that was the worst night of my life until I went and saw this movie. And I was like, holy fuck.
That's
Yeah.
That is
amazing.
brutal as shit. Oh,
I gotta let my dumb fucking cat out.
fucking Bella.
Bella, needy ass. Fucking.
Anyway, that's all I had to say. It's stupid. Don't watch it.
What's that dude? Now here's a question here. Is it because we were fucking younger and our sense of humor was different, and he's still making the same movies, or are these just fucking terrible movies compared?
I think
to
it's just. Yeah, I think it's a
Or-
little bit of that. He's trying to ride that, like when he did like Ricky Bobby, when he did Talladega Nights, that his form of improv, of just doing take after take and then editing it to be funny as it could be, was really good. But then now he tries to do the same thing with shit like this, and it just doesn't work. With this, I don't know. There's just something about it where it's just
maybe it's like the movies are too elaborate for the improv
maybe
to be
exactly
easy flow, because especially when you have like a Sherlock Holmes scene, like anything where it's just like completely out of the norm, it just takes all that much more time to set up.
Yep.
You can't as easily redo the scenes, like all the shit they show at the end of the Veep episodes. It's like they don't have to redo makeup. They can just do a dozen takes making up shit on the fly, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, there was some really funny parts. You guys probably won't even watch this, I'll just tell you. But there's some part where they're from Iceland, and they have to win Iceland's fucking Eurovision semifinal or whatever, and be the best in Iceland to make it to Eurovision. And they're fucking competing on this on this boat with all like Iceland's top musical talents, and they fucking totally fuck up the show. Like it's just a malfunction after malfunction and shit. And they get off the boat and they're like discussing it, and the boat just blows up. So like all of Iceland's top musical talent just dies instantly. And they're like him and Rachel McAdams are like, oh my God, we made it. He's like, wait, that's really, really sad. Like that sucks. There's a lot of people that just died, but we made it. Like, dude, it was fucking hilarious. Oh my God. But then after that, it just got like,
After
wow.
that, sucked again.
Yeah.
Well,
It
you
was
know
like
what else
watching-
sucks?
It was like watching Pitch Perfect, but like with shitty music.
Hey, that
Okay.
music in Pitch Perfect was awesome. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Eurovision was the shit. Anyway, go ahead. It sucked. Don't watch it.
Well,
It sucks to watch
you
it.
know what else sucks? Random stabbings in the neighborhood.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Random stabbings in my neighborhood.
So I went to go visit Baldwin before things all get closed down and stuff again.
That's your problem right there, dude. You wouldn't
Right
visit
as
the bar.
Well, it wasn't actually in the bar, but it was literally right outside the bar from people who weren't there, but people who were in the back smoking, like, walked out onto, one of the bartenders walked out and saw these guys like fighting. There was like a fist fight, and then like one guy pulls out a fucking switchblade and starts like putting it at the other guy's neck, and that guy is like putting his hand on the blade to get the blade away from his neck, and so he cuts his hand open, so he's like bleeding all over. And the bartender, she just starts screaming, which is probably a good thing because it drew other people out to be like, what the fuck's going on? And then, someone called the cops or whatever. The dude with the knife takes off, and the guy who gets his hand cut is like, oh, no, we don't need to call the cops. It's like, dude, you just got fucking mugged. Like, yeah, I don't know. And then now there's like, I was just literally walking as I'm coming down the street. I'm like, oh, there's a bunch of people outside. Like, maybe there was a car accident on the, corner or something. What's going on? And then, like, all these cop cars roll up. And I'm like, well, got some weed in my pocket. I'm like, I'm just going to keep walking the long way around and go on the front side of the bar. Then I heard this whole story, and it's like, why the fuck wouldn't you want the cops called? It's like, he probably has an open warrant or something like that himself,
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe this was like, wasn't just some random thing, but these two people knew each other.
Right.
I don't know. Then some people in the bar were all like, the cops are treating him like he's the fucking one who did it, asking him if he had drinks, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, I mean, he may be well drunk, or maybe they know him, like he might even have a history.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know he's the victim here and like what you saw, but who knows, like, why did he say he didn't want the cops called? I mean, if he was someone with nothing to hide, fucking call the cops.
Right.
I
Weird.
don't know. Anyways, it's just like there's been a couple of stories like that recently of there was some poor bastard on Willie Street who was like, I guess some car almost ran into him. I don't know if he was crossing the street wrongly or what, but he yelled at him, and I guess the car stopped. Two guys got out and whooped him, and they took his gun. He had a concealed carry license, so he had a concealed carry gun on him, but I don't know why he didn't pull that gun out. When these
Right.
people
Pull
got
that
out the car.
motherfucker out.
Yeah, if you yell at some fucking idiots and then they pull out they screech to a halt and get out like they're gonna start shit, and you got to
Fucking shoot
conceal
their
carry,
tires out.
that is the whole point. Well, you don't even have to shoot it. You just get that gun right out. Like, you want to come close to me? Try it.
Well, wait. But didn't he yell at them first though?
He yelled at them, but this guy, the drivers of the car supposedly
Almost hit him. Okay, I got you.
almost hit him. Yeah.
My
And I
bad.
guess
I pulled an ashtray. My bad.
They found out.
Wasn't paying attention. Sorry, I'm on
They
on
did end
Amazon.
up arresting two people who were in that car who beat that guy. They somehow ended up tracking down the vehicle.
I'll tell you what, though. I got some dude started yelling at me and Dana Seminaris when we were in high school on Main Street in Marshfield. They calling me a faggot and all this shit. So at the stoplight, like right by the McDonald's on Main, I got out and fucking cracked him in the face, like
Nice.
right through his window, and he just fucking ran the red light and took off. Like, dude, you gotta expect shit like that's gonna happen if you're gonna talk shit to
So he
someone
had
my
his window
size.
down, like he's just in the vehicle.
Yeah.
You just got out.
He was like, first off, he started ripping on the Dana's tailpipe or something. He's like, nice tailpipe, pussy. Something like that. I was like, because it was broken. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And he's like, fuck you, you fat fuck. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this asshole. So as soon as we stopped at the light, I just got out and cracked him in the fucking mouth. He took off.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's
That's
great.
satisfying justice.
Yeah, that is
That is,
great.
yeah.
Oh man, I wonder how much of that, like I've been in vehicles where people have been punched in the face.
Through the window.
Like multiple incidents where they're like drive-by punchings and hitting people with your door and shit like that. Like how many? But that was just like what you did when you were a kid.
It's just what you did as a kid.
Right.
I mean, I got into a lot of trouble as a high schooler, but I guess I didn't end up getting punched through a car window that I can remember.
But Mystic knows what I mean. Like that's just kind of like it's not like we were fucking radical thugs or something.
No.
We're fucking just kids in fucking Marshfield, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
The middle of nowhere.
Middle of
just
nowhere. You
handle
don't have
shit.
anything better to do.
Right away.
You dumb shit.
And it's not like somebody's
Figure
gonna,
that out.
it's not like people are in the fucking ICU or something after this shit. They fucking just, maybe they get a black eye or something. Whatever. It's
They
part of fucking
get to go home with the tail between their legs like they
right.
deserve.
Part of fucking growing up. I just wonder what does that still happen now? That type of thing.
Oh, it's gotta be. It's gotta. Yeah.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
the
Well,
kids
shit,
fucking playing Fortnite.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know.
Well, there's still weird shit going on. Like, although you haven't heard anything about it, but there was that story about the 18-year-old chick who stopped at the stoplight here on State Street, and some white dudes, sprayed some sort of lighter fluid or some accelerant on her face and lit her face on fire while she was in the car, and she just blew through the stoplight.
Well, that's fucking psychotic.
Patting her face out.
Yeah. That's not punching some dude because he was mouthing off.
Right. That's not the same fucking thing. That's like a fucking super villain origin story.
Right? Like that almost sounds like the guy who did it is arguing with his dad. Well, you told me you punched that guy one time. Well, I didn't throw fucking lighter fluid on someone, you fucking moron. Fuck is wrong with you?
Still an open car window. I thought it was all fair game.
Yeah. Oh, fuck it.
All right. Well,
that's it.
That's it. Go fuck yourself, Russia. We want our fucking
All
Canada wants the fucking magnetic pole back. North Pole
They
back.
don't have much else going for them, dude.
Right?
They need that pole.
Give it back.
Yeah.
That's our show. We're going to be here every Wednesday or Thursday night at 10 p.m. Central. Make sure you join the conversation at theredeyereport.com or facebook.com/redeyereport. You can also fuck off on Twitter. We don't check it. We don't give a shit about it.
Would you make another cake then?
Like us, share us, or fuck us. We're down for whatever. I'm Oracle.
This is Ashtray.
I'm
Teddy sleeping?
Wow.
And I missed
not
it.
asleep. I'm fucking with you. Yeah.
He's like a fucking
I am-
snapping turtle. Fucking
Dude,
pops
I
up.
ate way too many. I ate way too much weed butter. For some money.
And this is the Red Eye Report.
Like me and my girl are both passing out. She's over on the couch. All right, I'm going to go eat some more food so I can get fat again.
Fat Santa.
Yeah.
The Black Santa.
Black Santa coming at you.
Fat Black Santa.